Hey there, Rebels. This is your Judge Belmar coming at you after the hype of Comicpalooza. Yes, guys, I just came back from Comicpalooza and it was a treat. But before we get through all that, I want to get through the big news first. Rebel Hour has a website. We got a website. We've got a website. We've got a website. This is freaking great. Yes, thanks to my awesome friend Chelsea Willis, or it's likes to be called C-Dubs. Yes, right, C-Dubs. She created this awesome website. She's actually a friend of mine back from college. We actually took some art classes together, and we actually trained in martial arts together too. So she was around when I actually could, whoop a little ass. But now I can't because I'm broken. She checked out my website and said, hey, we should make this into something. And blam, website, rebelsaga.com. rebelsaga.com. Anyway, so guys, check it out. There will be a lot of articles on there and a lot of video content. Most of the articles will be done by her, and video content will be done by me. And we're also planning a webcast very soon too, to really introduce her to you guys, because a lot of people don't even know who she is or what she looks like. But she really is cool people. So you guys should really get to know her and check out her articles. She's actually a really great writer. Really great. So anyway, let's move on to what we came here for, Comicpalooza. Oh my god, this place is huge! Guys, this is my first experience not going to an anime convention. Anybody who's known me for a very long time knows that I love anime conventions. But there's more to life than just anime. Okay, I know that's blasphemy to some people. I know it's blasphemy, but you have to understand, there's a whole world of nerddom out there that we should all experience. And I decided, hey, there's one here right in Houston that's pretty freaking large, so I might as well check it out. And here we go with a con review. So, first aspect, space. Oh dear God, there's so much space. See, they had this con at the George R. Brown Convention Center, which is here directly in Houston. For those who don't know, that is 1,800,000 square feet. Damn! That's a lot of space, and they actually reserved the entire thing. The entire thing. And it was huge! The whole bottom floor was dedicated to the artist alley, the celebrity signings, and the dealer's room. I've never been to a place that big. But there's a catch to it. I think maybe it was a little too big. Here's my thing. When you have to travel between certain floors, because they rented out the entire thing, so first, second, and third floors. And that's 1,800,000 square feet of stuff. But not really. Like I said, the first floor is dedicated to all that down there. Second floor was actually all dedicated to registration. Like the line will go from outside, be brought in, then the second floor would be nothing but people trying to register. And then third floor is where all the panels and games and stuff was, which is good. Oh yeah, did I mention I had a media pass? Yes, Judge B had press coverage. Yes, I actually worked with a certain website who actually saw some of my stuff and said, hey, we need somebody to do video and audio stuff because, hell, we see you can do some stuff, so try to help us out. The site is called TinkTink.org, who cover all nerd culture, from anime, video games, to anything, comics. And they call it Tink Tink because, Tink Tink, like a grenade. Like this grenade. When you pull the pin, pop the thing off, and throw it, it makes a tink tink noise. And then it explodes. So yeah, really guys, check out TinkTink.org. They're really great. Just don't pull out any grenades on them. Now let's talk about the artist alley / dealer's room. Well, / celebrity place too. Oh my god, it was huge. Think about it. The entire first floor of the Georgia Brown Convention Center, once again, 1,800,000 square feet. The entire first floor of it was nothing but stuff. Artist alley. Artist alley is when it comes from anime. So, people just make things and sell them off. But they had more than that. They actually had artists there and groups in Houston that didn't really exist. Like, there's actually a Ghostbusters place here. There's actually a fan group for Power Rangers. Power Rangers! I love Power Rangers! And even have like a plastic model place that was actually really cool. I also met a non-profit group called D20 Girls Project, which is actually a non-profit female empowerment group for the nerd culture. And I actually did an interview with him. If you want to check it out too, by all means, check it out. You got to meet them and talk to them, and you figure out what exactly is D20 Girls Project. Well, I'm not a female, but I do know a lot of females who are nerds who go through the problems that, being a female nerd does happen to. The Girls Project actually helps move past that. So check it out. You can check out the interview and their website. Yeah, check it both out. They're really cool people. Along the Artist Alley, I got to meet two very famous, beautiful, stunning cosplayer players.
Hi, TinkTink.org and Rebel Saga. This is IvyDoomKitty
and Nicole.
Love you.
But I'm taken, so yeah. IvyDoomKitty is very, very, very wonderful cosplayer, and she actually does really great work. That ass, though. And then there was the third floor. The third floor pretty much had everything else for that to do with the con. The panel room, the game rooms, the video game rooms, everything. And one other small thing about having a really big con is that, like I said, too much space. Like from the first floor to the third floor, it's kind of a trek, especially with me who had a press badge, who had a whole bunch of equipment with me. I had to go from the first floor to this third floor, up and down over again. And for 20 pounds of stuff on your back, who is not a soldier or is actually, fit, it kind of sucks. And sometimes the panel rooms are actually bigger than what they needed to be. Like, I went to the Stan Lee event. Oh, I keep forgetting. Stan Lee was there too! I got to be within 5 feet of Stan Lee! Okay, I'm done. Actually, I didn't get to interview him, unfortunately, because, Stan has this schedule that you have to go by, and we couldn't get with him. But I actually recorded the event and actually got to be a few feet from him, and then I got to be backstage. I was actually 5 feet away from Stan Lee. He smells like old and amazing. But he's a really cool guy, and the event was good too. Once again, I have another video right there. I told you guys, I did a lot of video coverage for this one, so you will not be disappointed with all the stuff I have to show you for Comicpalooza. But yeah, the Stan Lee panel, as popular as Stan Lee was, it wasn't full all the way, and not because there weren't enough people. There were a hell of a lot of people. But the space was just so huge that they really couldn't fill everything up. Which I guess is a good thing to have more space than what you need, but a lot of times it's just a lot of traveling, and I just really can't do that with all the stuff I have on my back. But still, all the space was well used and abused for it, just that me personally had to do all that traveling. I got tired really quick, which means Judge B needs to get fit quick. Yeah, so a lot of space to use and abuse, and it was great, just great. You guys know at any con I go to, I need to get some con swag. And no, not that type of swag. No. Bad Justin Bieber. Bad. Swag as in treasure, pirate, booty. Booty. So a couple things I did get. I have a thing now at every con I go to. I need to get some buttons. Buttons, 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 and more buttons. And these are just buttons that are just cool buttons, and I need more buttons. I got a few cool ones. I actually got some that were actually metal, which is, well, they're all metal. But I mean like heavy metal. Heavy metal like, Deadpool, Captain America, Foxhound. It was awesome. And I also got a little tag, too, from Ghostbusters. Because, I love Ghostbusters. Why else would I need it? It's Ghostbusters. I also got a drinking gourd because, well, why wouldn't I want a drinking gourd? Honestly speaking, there's no real rhyme or reason for me to buy these things, but they're there and they're awesome. Yeah, so I got a drinking gourd, I got some buttons, I got a tag, and I also got a little something that most anime fans should and will have in the future. A shinai. Yes, it's a bamboo sword used for kendo practice. I don't care if I don't do kendo practice. Every anime fan should have one of these. Why? Because it makes this sound. That's intimidating! Yes! I also got two other things too, but I'm talk about those in the next section because heroes of mine from when I was a younger person. So let's go to the next segment, shall we? Next segment would usually go towards panels. Now, me doing press badge. Again, I didn't really get a chance to go to a lot of panels. I was more doing a lot of interviews and talking to celebrities, and it was so cool. I got to meet two people who are my heroes from when I was a child, and I have to say one of them I completely blanked out on / kind of gave off of a creepy fan vibe. It was Jason from the Power Rangers! The very first Red Ranger out there. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what they say about Tommy. Tommy. Jason David Frank is probably a really good guy. I don't really know anything about him. But Jason, the character from Power Rangers, was the best Ranger out there, and I was sad to see him go. So, I got to meet him in person. And I completely blanked on him. Like, I walked up to his thing and said, hey, can I get an autograph? Like, yeah, sure. You want to sign your name? I was like, no. What? No. You don't have to sign my name. Oh. And he just looked confused. I was like, no, I'm losing him. Okay. Say the first thing come to your head. Yo, man, you were the best one out there. You was the only Red Ranger, man. Oh, thanks. No! I came off as a creepy fan. Oh, it was so sad. Oh, but I did get his autograph. It's amazing. I'm going to frame this because this is Austin St. John, Jason, the very first Power Ranger. I'm still giving off that creepy fan vibe, but you have to understand, I grew up on this guy. Red was my favorite color because of him. I still got to meet the other Rangers, but I didn't get autographs from them. Because Walter Emmanuel Jones, or Zach, he is a talker. Like, he'll talk to his fans for a very long time, and unfortunately with scheduling issues, I couldn't stay there and get his autograph. David Yost, Billy, was actually there, and I tried to get an interview with him, but due to issues that happened in the past with interviewing people he did not know, he turned me down because he just didn't know anything about the site and didn't have time to research it, which I completely and totally understand. With the circumstances that happened with him, I understand. Then there was Aisha there, and oh, I just couldn't. I really couldn't because I didn't want to come off as another creepy fan again. It was sad, but at least I got to meet them in person and shake their hands and say they were great actors and they were our childhood. Great people. Well, while I was working there with TinkTink.org and Rebel Saga, I got to interview me and C-Dubs. C-Dubs! Got to actually interview a few people that you actually might know or know of their work. We got to meet Raphael Sabarge, who is actually an actor on the show Once Upon a Time, and he's also the voice of Kate Nalenko from Mass Effect. So it was like, okay, wow, I didn't even know. He was even on Star Trek for like 6 episodes, and I remembered as soon as I saw him, it's like he got that crazy looking hair. Then I got to meet James O'Barr, who was actually the writer and creator of The Crow, the graphic novel. But he also had a hand, or at least was part of the production for The Crow, the movie, which a lot of people should know by now is my favorite movie out of all time. I've seen a movie at least 50 times, and I'm going to watch it 50 times more before I ever get bored of it. Now, he was only a part of the first Crow. He thought the other Crows weren't really canon or even needed. Actually, you can check out the interview right here again to really see what he had to say about them, and also just, see me kind of fanboy a little bit more with the microphone talking to him. Yes, I did interviews this weekend, people. Leave me alone. I also got to interview James Mewes. Well, no, C-Dubs. There we go. C-Dubs got to interview James Mewes from, you should know who James Mewes is by his face, but he's actually from Jay and Silent Bob films and a few other movies too. He's actually a really great guy. We actually couldn't get a video interview with him, so we have an audio interview. We actually have a few audio interviews up already. So check those out too. He's a really cool guy, honestly speaking. Really cool guy to really talk to, and he is honestly a comic book fan. Real cool guy. I also helped TinkTink.org actually interview a really big celebrity, or at least people. He's a cult icon, honestly speaking. Everybody knows who he is. Lou Ferrigno. Yes, the original Hulk. And for people who are more into the current cartoons, he is Billy from Adventure Time. Yes, that is Billy. Billy is Lou Ferrigno, and it's just awesome to talk to him. The guy's biceps are as big as my face. No matter how old you think he is or how old he really is, he is still fit, and he could probably crush my head if I pissed him off. But he's actually a really cool guy. He actually likes meeting his fans and talking to them and just connecting with them, honestly speaking. So along with comic book artists, actors, cult icons, I actually got to meet a real cool guy. I used to be a fan of wrestling. Big fan of WWE. I loved it. And there was one character who I really, really liked when I was a kid, and I got to meet him in person. He used to be called the Hurricane. Gregory Shane Helms. The Hurricane. If people don't know, he was actually the superhero persona in WWE. Like, he literally put on a mask and cape and tried to do superhuman feats. And they were amazing. And, it's not like I was a fan. So yeah, I'm not that big of a fan, but yeah, I got to meet him at the after party, and he was just cool. Him and his wife were there. They just love talking to people, and it was just surprising as a kid when I first saw, like, these WWE guys are really tough, big, burly men who fight each other. But to see an actual character who embodies a superhero, and the guy was actually a fan of superheroes. He said it many times on screen. He even has a tattoo of the Green Lantern symbol on his shoulder. And honestly, just talking with him, sitting down, partying with him, he was just an all-around great guy. Honestly, I would love to meet him again and see him again and just chill and hang out. And hell, maybe we'll get an interview with him if he's ever available for it. So instead of panels, we have guests, and the guests there were just so diverse. We had TV actors, illustrators from comic books, graphic novels, illustrators, writers, everyone. There was even a few anime voice actors and a few cartoon voice actors there, like Jim Cummings, who is the voice of like a lot of the 90s cartoons that I grew up on. And I got to meet Miss Veronica Taylor, who is the voice of Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. I was 10 when it came out, and I got to meet her. Here, watch it. And I got to meet so many people, and it was so amazing. Like, anime conventions have guests and voice actors there, but I don't really have the people who I grew up on. So it was really great to meet and see these people in the flesh. And it was just great. I really can't. I'm supposed to use more words than just great, but there's no other word to really describe this con. This con was just an all-around great con. Like, they had so many guests and people there and whatever. You know what? A list of thesaurus words that mix with great, just look those up and you put that with Comicpalooza and it works just fine. Now, some miscellaneous things. Once again, when it get from celebrities, it was diverse. From Artist Alley, it was big. And honestly, they had more things out there than I would expected. Like, they actually had a game room. Now, when I say game room, I don't mean like video game room. They had one of those, although it was kind of small. It only had like 4 systems, and they were playing Tekken, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and Smash Brothers. That's all I really saw there in the video game room. It was kind of small compared to anime conventions. But they actually had a game room. And by game room, I mean like board games, RPG games. Just, oh my god, it was great. I need to stop using that word, but I can't think of anything else. Like, great is the word that's for this con. Because, you understand, when I was a kid, I played board games, and I thought they were fun for a while, but I got old and I thought, you know what, board games aren't that fun anymore. Video games is where it's at. But then when I got taken away from video games on that one and got introduced to board games and tabletop games, like, wow, this is so much more fun than I remember. I'm actually getting more into tabletop games nowadays. Especially this game called HeroClix, but I'll get to that a little later. So, the diversity of everything there, not just having video games there, but panels, celebrities, guests, board games! And good lord, the board game community is huge! I did not know how big this community really was. I have a few friends that do it, but they had an entire ballroom set up just for them. An entire ballroom, guys! Just wow! So I'm actually getting more into tabletop games because of this. I've done some RPG games, and I still am in a few campaigns right now, but they weren't anything that big. But now that I see how big this really is in Houston, or at least Texas, or at least in the United States, I really want to check it out. So now that I know how big the tabletop/gaming world really is, like, video games, you gotta set up your game, because I'm getting bored of you. Bring back the old board games for all I care. So all around verdict on Comicpalooza? An awesome con. It really was. It's a great con for people who are just getting into the nerd culture. Like, if you know enough TV, you can come there and meet people that you never met before. And then you actually get introduced to people who know more about certain things and learn from them. But there's also enough content there for the old school people who have been in comics and nerddom and everything that's around there, and actually introduce the younger people into it. It's like, hey, you like this? Well, this guy actually got inspired by this guy. Just a good general audience con. Like, anime conventions are more of a niche thing because you have to like anime to actually go there and enjoy it, because no one else is there except for anime people. But Comicpalooza had television, comics, video games, everyone was there. So anyone who's never been to a con, I would honestly suggest going to Comicpalooza in Houston, Texas. It is a really good con, really great con, really awesome con. All the words that are synonymous to good or great. I would personally go back. I plan on going back. So this is your Judge B coming at you with a con review saying, go check out Comicpalooza 2015. It is amazing. I have all of my interviews I've done with people down below, and I also have a link to a few of the people's Twitters and to the website tinktink.org and rebelsaga.com. This is Judge B signing out, and I hope you guys enjoy the fun. This has been epically real.